Hello, my favorite 7th grade class. Welcome to Unit 3, Proportional Reasoning. We've already been in this unit, but now we're on Lesson 6, Application Problems of Rates. And again, this is Mr. B's favorite 7th graders. Welcome to 7th grade math. Let's go ahead and move on to today's objectives. Alright, so for today's objectives, let's go ahead and look at the content objective. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to go ahead and read that yourself, and then I'm going to read it for you all. Alright, so the content objective says explore the multiplicative and additive properties of proportional relationships today through rate tables and continue utilizing unit rates to solve real world problems. Remember, we learned about multiplicative and additive 3 days ago. That was for our lesson 3. And we had a whole class, and I tried to teach you guys how to say multiplicative. So we're going to go ahead and connect our previous learning from lesson 3 and connect it to this one. So let's go ahead and read on to our language objective. It says write using newly acquired content-based grade level vocabulary to explain constant rates of change, calculate unit rates, solve problems involving ratios, rates, and percents to solve real-world problems in their math books. Now I know that's just a lot of words, so let me give it to you basically. We're going to be doing the same thing that we did 3 days ago, but it's going to be on a deeper level so that way you can learn it at a deeper level, and that way you internalize it, so that way when you go out into the world or whatever you all are going to do during the summer, you guys are going to see it. So let's go ahead and set expectations for our behavior today. Today we're going to be active listening. We're going to be raising our hands, respecting others' opinions, and participating positively. So I do have a little game for you guys coming up shortly, and you guys need to participate so that way you can get full points on your next test. The materials needed, so if you go ahead and grab these materials out your backpacks, and then go ahead and put your backpacks in the corner, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So you need your computer, you need your pencil, and you need your math notes packet. Remember, we don't use pens in math because you can't erase pen if you make a mistake. So go ahead and make sure you have a pencil. If you don't have a pencil, remember there are some on my desk. I'm going to give you guys until, let's say, I'm going to give you guys the next 14 seconds to go ahead and get all that done. Guys have about 5 seconds to go ahead and get that done. 3, 2, 1. Alright. Let's go ahead and half master your computer, and we're going to go ahead and move on to our math journals. You also should have your math journal with you with your computer, okay? So, in your math journal, we're going to go ahead and go over this vocabulary terms. This is the key vocabulary for today. So go ahead and open up your math journal and turn to a blank page and put in key vocabulary for lesson 6. Our first vocabulary word today is rates, the comparison of two different quantities measured in different units. We talked about this on Monday, about 2 lessons ago, and so remember, rates are different quantities measured in different units. So you can't look at the example. You can't have 17 miles to 1 mile and say that's a rate. That's a ratio. And we're going to talk more about ratios tomorrow. So we're going to focus on rates today. So for rates, look at the example. We have 17 miles to 1 gallon. And that's a real world problem because some of you are getting ready to learn how to drive, and so your car might get 17 miles to the gallon. And so when you see that, or 17 mpg, that's what that means. So go ahead and write that down. Moving on to the rate table. is going to be a tabular representation that shows the relationship between two quantities. I gave you a rate table. We've seen this before on our testing. It's this part on the left side that gives you X and Y. And if you don't get all this down while I'm talking, it's okay because you'll have 2 minutes to write it down. And then for proportions, it's the equality of two ratios or fractions. If you look at the example, it says 45g equals 5/1. And so we're going to get some real more practice with that because I saw that some of you all struggled with that on our last quiz. And so you're going to get a little more practice with that in today's lesson. So go ahead and for the next 2 minutes, write down your information, get your notes. If you're done with your notes, you can go ahead and talk quietly with your table partner. You have about a minute left to write down these vocab terms. About 30 seconds left. Make sure you also draw the examples and draw pictures too so that way you can remember. About 10 seconds left. Alright, that is time. Okay. So I want you to go ahead and turn to the next page of your notebook. We're going to be watching a video next. It's going to be a very short video about rates and ratios. I really enjoyed this video. I watched it when I was younger, so I'm going to pass it on to you all. What I want you guys to do is, while you're watching the video, write down some example rates that you see in the video. There's going to be plenty of examples in there. Whatever table comes up with the most rates that they find in the video will learn 5 points on their quiz from me when I return. So go ahead and open up that next part of your math journal, and let's go ahead and see who's the best table at listening. Make sure we're actively listening and taking notes.
It's Rady, the math cat, that cat who's great with rates. Meow.
How much does this fish cost?
Fish. The fish costs $3 per pound. That's $6 for every 2 pounds.
Thanks, Rady.
Turn off the shower, you're wasting water.
Okay.
She's right. Water flows through that shower head at 3 gallons per minute. You've been showering for 10 minutes. That's 30 gallons of water down the drain.
Get out of the shower.
You're eating 1 apple per person. 5 apples, 5 people. $10 per lawn mow. At 5 lawns in the neighborhood, that's $50. Ew. 4 commercials per commercial break. Meow. Half a gallon of milk per week? That's 1 gallon of milk every 2 weeks. 2 hours of gameplay per day? That's 14 hours per week. Only 3 windows cleaned per hour?
Oh man, we still have 100 miles to go.
We'll get there soon. I'm driving 50.
Meow. You're not going 50. You're going 50 miles per hour. That means you'll go 100 miles in 2 hours.
Is that your cat?
It's Rady, the math cat.
Ooh. 1 mile marker per mile.
We have 2 hours in the car with him.
Maybe I'll kick it up to 70.
Meow.
It's Rady, the math cat. That cat who's great with rates. Meow.
Awesome. So great job, guys, being active listeners. Here's some video examples if you didn't catch them on that were given in the video of rates. Remember the table with the most rates when I return in their math journal? We'll get 5 points on their quiz. So we have fish is $3 per pound. And then the guy that was taking a shower used 30 gallons per 10 minutes. 5 apples per 5 people. These are just everyday examples of rates that we can see in our day-to-day lives. Some of you might say 4 tires per car. You know, so these are just everyday examples. Let's go ahead and close our math notebooks. Your computer should still be at half mast. Let's go ahead and look over into our math journal, or our math notes for today. I'm sorry. So go ahead and grab your math notes, and we're going to go ahead and do an I do from today. So here we go. So for the next page, the question says Kylie is stuffing envelopes. She stuffs 100 envelopes per hour. 100 envelopes per hour. Complete the rate table below. So the reason why I wanted us to work on this problem is because it's a little more visually accommodated for you all. So right here, we see 100 over 1, and we talked about this before, so let's connect our previous learning. This is called the unit rate. And excuse my handwriting because it looks atrocious. The unit rate, okay? So we know the unit rate is going to be the number that is over 1. Because remember, 1 is, every big number has 1. Okay? So this is the unit rate. And so if you look at the arrow, let's go to the right first. Okay? So let's go from 1 to 2. So in order to go from 1 to 2, how do we do that? Right. We're going to multiply by 2. And whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So what's 100 times 2? Right, 200. Okay, so let's go back to our unit rate and then let's work backwards. Let's look at half. So how do we go from 1 to half of 1? Not by 4, you divide by 2, right? Because it's half of 1. So whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So we're going to divide, it looks like an addition sign, but it's not going to be an addition sign. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to divide by 2. 100 divided by 2 is what? 50. Right. Let's go back to our unit rate and let's look here. How do we go from 1 to 25? Well, how many quarters are in a dollar? 4. So 4 quarters are in a dollar, so we're going to have to divide by 4. All right. So whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. Right. So we're going to divide by 4. 100 divided by 4 is what? How many quarters are in a dollar? 4. Right. But how much is a quarter worth? Right. 25. So this is telling me, and this is a rate table for you all. So you can look at your math notes and you can look at your math journal. This is telling me that for every quarter of an hour, she gets 25 envelopes done. For every 30 minutes, she gets 50 envelopes done. For every hour, she gets 100, and for every 2 hours, she gets 200 done. All right, great job, everybody. Let's go ahead and look at our next thing. So from here, I'm going to release you guys to do your thing. This is your you do. Thank y'all so much, and I'll see y'all when I return.